It's Friday, which means many of us will be enjoying plenty of candy over the weekend. But what happens when one of our furry friends gets into our sweet treats? Well, today we are joined by Dr. Kelly Gebhardt from Happy Tails Emergency Clinic. So Halloween, of course, always about treats, right? And many of us will have that big candy bowl out and ready for trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, and it's best to try and keep your dogs just completely away from the bowl of candy during the trick-or-treating time, because you're going to the door, you're putting it down, you're getting distracted, and the next thing you know, the dog has just eaten the whole bowl, and then you're in all kinds of trouble. The types of candies we worry about the most are chocolate, for sure. The darker the chocolate, the less chocolate they have to eat to suffer a toxicity. Chocolate toxicity is the #1 toxicity we see at this time of year and over the holidays. Yeah.
So what about, like, the kids are eating the chocolate and it's okay to let the pets sniff around with the candy wrappers and such, or what?
I would not recommend that. I would just keep the kids in a separate room while they're counting all their candies and eating the candies, because if the dogs eat the wrappers, that can actually cause foreign body obstructions. If they do eat some of the candy, that can also cause pancreatitis or gastroenteritis, which is vomiting, diarrhea, upset stomach, inflamed pancreas, and that might not show up for up to a week after, during that first week after they eat the candies that are high fat and sugar.
Well, my next question is, some of our pets are very sneaky, so they might take something and we don't know that they've taken it. How would we know if our dog had chocolate?
So the first signs you might see are hyperexcitability, agitation, not acting like themselves, like they've had a little too much caffeine. Vomiting, diarrhea are the next symptoms. Then you get into elevated heart rate, and some other more severe symptoms like seizures. So the first thing you're going to see: vomiting, diarrhea, hyperactivity. And if you know that there's chocolate in the house, and if their vomit smells like chocolate, you know they got into chocolate.
Okay, I didn't even want to hear that. All right, so chocolate is not the only thing that is dangerous to a pet. I think that sometimes people want to share their food, right? And there's certain foods that we know we shouldn't share, like grapes or raisins, that kind of stuff. But sugar-free candy is also an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And sugar-free candy is such a popular thing now, but it usually contains xylitol, which is toxic to cats and dogs. But we see it mostly in dogs, because cats don't usually have a hankering for candies. But the xylitol can cause low blood sugar and even liver failure at certain doses. So it is very serious. So we keep all sugar-free items away from dogs, especially gum, candy, muffins, any of that sugar-free product with xylitol. Very dangerous.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's talk costumes, because my dog Kona, she loves a costume. She's the cowardly lion this year. She's really good about being dressed up, so there we are, right? She's been a s'more over the years. She's been a dinosaur from Toy Story. And so she was running around in that costume. Let's talk about the safety with animals in costumes.
That is so cute. So it's most important that you want them to look cute, and that's totally okay. Just make sure that the costume does not obstruct their vision, their movement, or their breathing. Make sure that they're not chewing anything off of it, because it can cause intestinal foreign bodies, and the little metal parts can actually cause toxicities, zinc or lead toxicities. So making sure that their movement, vision, breathing are okay, and that they don't eat anything off of it, because that can cause problems.
Gotcha. Okay. So often we want to make sure our kids are safe. We give them a glue stick or something like that, or we have them wear that, and then they're tossing it by the end of the night. That also can be a concern for a pet.
And it's not actually toxic as much as it is. It's just really irritating to the mouth and the tongue, and it can cause really bad hypersalivation, foaming at the mouth, or even vomiting. So it's not technically toxic, but it can really make them look like they are having a severe reaction.
Okay, we've got about a minute left. Some pets get scared when all people come to the door. So what should we be doing on a Halloween night?
The #1 recommendation would be keeping your pet in a safe place. Like if they have a crate that they're happy in, or maybe a bedroom where they feel safe, that would be my recommendation, to keep them away from the door that keeps opening and closing, because it just takes 1 second for them to zip out and then be lost. So keep them in a separate room with maybe a little soft music playing or a little white noise, making sure that they're collars and tags are intact and up to date. If they're microchipped, make sure your microchipped information is up to date. If they're not microchipped, consider getting them microchipped. The other thing is, if you live in a house versus an apartment, maybe putting your trick-or-treat out at the end of the driveway so the doorbell's not going.
Yeah. Less barking too for you to hear later.